Hey guys, Kira Kennedy here with the December 12th edition of Vlogmas. For those of you who do not know, Vlogmas is a series where I'll be posting a video blog every single day in the month of December, from December 1st to the 31st. I'm sorry, I'm very frazzled and very tired because I got called in very early this morning at the last minute, like with basically an hour and a half before my shift had to start because somebody was sick and it's been a long day. I basically crashed and burned as soon as I got home, and I'm only just now getting to today's video blog. Um, that's not what I want to talk about today, though. I want to kind of give an update on the whole Patreon debacle I talked about a couple of days ago. For those of you who don't know, Patreon, a few days back, they changed their fees. Instead of doing, I think it was 2.9% plus 35 cents. Instead of charging that to from the creators themselves, they'd move those fees onto any and all patrons, which really hurt like the smaller tier donors. Basically, I think anyone from the dollar tier to the $5 tier, basically anything under $5 was screwed by this change, which basically caused patrons to drop campaigns en masse. I talked about this, how it was really, really frustrating for me, especially since, and I'm going to reveal this now for a very good reason, my Patreon hadn't basically gotten any bites. I had hoped I'd get, something when I'd started it. Unfortunately, it's been, I think, 6 months since I started the campaign, and I haven't seen anything. I'll talk about this. I'll go further into that in a minute. But basically, a couple of days ago, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, at Kira Kennedy HNR, I shared this thread that basically kind of informed my decision on where I want to go with the campaign. Basically, long and short of it, Twitter user at Damien Wilkins was sharing some developments on the situation. He was talking about stuff like people finding an interview from back in June where Patreon basically said they only cared about the big time creators, and they didn't want any of the small fry creators like myself or Faceless Critic. Well, they didn't mention us by name, but I'm just giving examples. Guys like myself, Faceless Critic, Gomer21XX. I'll post a link to his channel down in the description below if you ever want to check out his stuff. That was just the first creator that came to mind. He'd also mentioned how they were talking with some of the prominent creators and said that the fees aren't going anywhere, even though they screwed the pooch on the rollout here. He also talked about how the co-founder was basically on Twitter trying and failing to put out this tire fire of a PR disaster. And basically, the long and short of it is that this whole thread, again, the link will be down below in the description if you want to check it out. Basically, this thread led me to decide that I'm going to be dropping my Patreon campaign. Like I said earlier, I haven't gotten a bite in the 6 months that I have had this campaign, and at this point, I don't think dropping everything down to the it's obvious that dropping everything down to the dollar tier isn't going to fix this situation. It's obvious that this is like the YouTube situation all over again, with the exception that there are at least alternatives to Patreon at this point. I've started enabling monetization on YouTube just for the sake of being able to, just to see if that would help alleviate some of the issues there. I'm also going to be going forward with the Ko-fi, whatever, however the hell you pronounce it. I'm definitely going to get that done this week, and as soon as Drip is available, if that seems like a viable option as well, I will be setting up a page through Kickstarter Drip. I think the situation like this, again, it really frustrates me because, and I keep mentioning the term bass backwards, but the idea like, I can understand wanting to focus on the big creators, but to completely shut out the small creators, it's short-sighted, and I can't say anything more than that, because partially because I'm so tired, my brain is basically fried right now, but also, as far as this month is gone, somebody posted on the Patreon debacle. Hang on one second. There was a user by the name of Me2 commented on the actual Patreon debacle Vlogmas vlog, basically calling this month Vidpocalypse December, and I'm beginning to think that's a real thing that we should be calling this. I mean, because this month alone we have the shutting down of VidMe, we've had these changes to Patreon's fees, and now it's coming out that this is what they intend, and even though they totally effed up the rollout of these new fees, they're not going back on it. It's... I will be shocked if, you don't see more creators dropping the Patreon campaign en masse, their Patreon campaigns en masse at this point. And all I really have to say to wrap this up before I go into my social media plugs is, Patreon, you screwed up. You were touting yourself as this haven for creators, and then you basically shot all those creators in the foot by changing these fees. You screwed up, and at this point, you need a total overhaul to try to get back the creators' trust. So with that out of the way, and this very negative entry in Vlogmas coming to an end, thank you guys as always for watching. If you guys would like to support me on social media, I am on Twitter at KiraKennedyHNR, Tumblr at KiraKennedyHNR.tumblr.com, and of course you can always check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/KiraKennedyReviews. If you guys would like to support the channel a little further, there will be some new links coming. I will post them as they are ready to go. I will add them to my past videos. But as always, if you would like to check out any of my past work, my Let's Plays, my stream archives, even my reviews, you can do so at peanutbutterdisaster.com. So until tomorrow, which I hope will be a hell of a lot more of a positive vlog, I'm Kira Kennedy, and thank you for watching.
Peanut butter disaster.